6 months ago, President Trump said Jerusalem is Israel's true capital. And the good news is we don't have to talk about it anymore. Jerusalem, he said, is off the table. Well, if Jerusalem is off the negotiating table, it is now back on the soccer pitch. Thank you for tuning in for your daily dose. Argentina's national soccer team canceling their game in Jerusalem this weekend. There is no doubt that Israel's decision to move the game from Haifa, as originally planned at the nation's biggest stadium, to Jerusalem instead, politicized the game, had major international consequences.
It's not a decision regarding Israel or taking into account of what the world is saying. What they have in mind, first and foremost, is what we can do to play better. They felt that coming here was a problem, and it wasn't because of the BDS.
Unfortunately, they couldn't take the pressure of the BDS and all the anti-Semite organizations around the world that are trying to damage the Israel reputation around the world, and unfortunately, they fall to their trap.
The cancellations comes after weeks of intense lobbying from the anti-Israel BDS movement, but the pressure did not just come from interviews and BDS press releases. It turned into personal attacks and death threats and security concerns. Palestinian protesters even showed up at the Argentine team practices with bloody jerseys. The Argentinian players told their coaches they had been getting death threats. They were afraid for their lives. The Palestinian Soccer Association head said Argentina did the right thing by canceling and that the players are not going to be used as a pawn for the occupation. Joining me in studio is our sports correspondent, Jonathan Regev. But first, let's start in the halls of Israel's parliament with our diplomatic correspondent, Mike Wagenheim. Mike, what is the Israeli political reaction to this last-minute cancellation? And is there blame going around now for the sports minister herself, Miri Regev?
As usual with politics, Jeff, it's all about the blame game. The members of the ruling coalition are blaming the BDS movement, blaming anti-Semites from around the world for pushing for this match to be canceled, for pushing for the threats toward Lionel Messi, the star of the Argentinian team, and the rest of the players as well. Threats to the players, threats to their families' safety that ultimately apparently led to this decision to cancel the match. Meanwhile, members of the opposition are blaming in large part Culture Minister Miri Regev, saying she couldn't leave well enough alone. The match was set for Haifa. It probably would have faced little opposition from BDS proponents if it had been kept in a mixed city and away from the politically sensitive arena of Jerusalem. But she insisted vocally that the match be moved to Jerusalem, tied it to the 70th anniversary celebration of Israel's founding, and therefore in those ways politicized the event and opened the door for this type of maneuvering to happen from the BDS and the pro-Palestinian movement. So it's really split down the middle. The coalition blaming the BDS movement, blaming anti-Semitic actions, and the opposition pointing the finger directly at the always controversial culture minister, Miri Regev.